Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Political Talk with JB. I am your host, Julian Boykin, and tonight I am joined by Mrs. Maegan Jones, who is running for City Council, Place 5 in Hartselle, Alabama. Maegan, thank you for joining me tonight. How are you doing?
Doing great. I'm glad to be here, Julian. Thanks so much for this opportunity, and I'm really looking forward to diving in with you in conversation.
Thank you. Tell everybody a little bit about your background and the position that you're campaigning for.
Sure. So I am campaigning for City Council Place 5 in the city of Hartselle. My background primarily is in real estate. I've been in real estate for nearly 10 years now. I have recently, in the past year, I actually opened my own brokerage. My husband and I, we own another company together as well, Empire Chimney Solutions, right here locally in Hartselle, Alabama. We're really excited about being here in Hartselle, about serving the community, serving people through the experiences that we have and the skill sets that we can offer. And we're happy to be here.
Great, great. So when it comes to communications, and it's no secret that the people of Hartsville were kind of frustrated when we have our city leaders and they're not doing a great job of transparency and communicating with us on events and things of that nature. What is your plan as the next city council woman when it comes to being transparent and communicating with the people of Hartsville?
Sure. So communication is it can be complicated or it can be simple, right? I tend to lean towards the simple side. I think whenever you're communicating with people, whenever you're speaking from a leadership standpoint, and then from a citizenship standpoint, sometimes there just feels like there's a gap that needs to be filled. I want to keep things simple. I want to make sure that we're communicating with people about what's happening, really what's happening, that we are being transparent, that we are showcasing what's going on in projects, answering questions, and being available to the public. There's a lot of campaign slogans right now centered around that, centered around communication. The community is really wanting to see some transparency in regard to city council meetings. And I think there's been a little bit of a divide from the council and the mayor, with our citizens. And I don't think that there's anything intentional there at all. I just think that it's waters that we haven't dived into before. I don't think there's any ill intent there, but I think sometimes we've got to be willing just to take that next step forward and try something new together. There's just a level of vulnerability there that Hartselle City's got to tap into, and I think the citizens are really looking to see that now.
As it relates to safety for the people of Hartsville, what is your plan on ensuring the residents that they can, walk in the neighborhoods at night and, and feel safe?
Sure. So our police department is it's very seen in the community. You see officers patrolling all times of the day now. I feel like there is a transparency there about what's happening in the community. For a majority of us, I think we do feel safe. I think we're excited to go to the parks in the evenings. We have, really great lighting now in our public spaces, in our neighborhoods. There's a lot of sidewalks that have been going in, projects that are moving forward that offer that safety, that feel of safety, and just that reassurance for families who are, in progress from point A to point B throughout their day, regardless of what time it is. And I think we do have our police force to thank for that. I think, overall, our council is responsible for ensuring that we are providing the personnel needed to keep up with, how the size of our residency, how many citizens are here, the number of people that we have here, the level of activity that we have here in our public spaces. And I think the city's very aware of that, and they're very intentional of making sure that we have people in place that can assure safety for the people of Hartselle. And that's what we want to continue to see.
Great. As it relates to our roads, we have quite a bit of roads that need a little TLC. So, what is your plan on coming up with coming up with something to where, granted, you can't get it done, in one day, but what is your plan on trying to get some of the roads that are in serious repair and making sure that they get that TLC that they need?
Right. So, whenever you're talking about collectively working together with a council, it's not just one individual that pushes an agenda, right? So, you have to see collectively with a group of leaders that are working together, that are even bringing opposing ideas at times, right? Because you want different perspectives on the table to make sure that we are all engaged. We're all bringing forth different ideas from different perspectives, and we're pulling together at the end of the day. We don't always have to agree, but whenever you're talking about working together as a council, so me looking to seat on place five, when you're speaking to something as particular as roads, it's not just what am I looking to do, it's how are we collectively going to pull this together and execute this project, for the city. And I think it takes a really a high level of trust with the people that you're working with, right? It takes a high level of understanding of, okay, what is this process going to look like? Is it in a strategic plan? And how are we really looking to execute this plan? I think so far our city council has really done an excellent job of that. Now, no one is perfect, right? And there's always room for improvement. And so, in saying that, I want to collectively seek together. I want to make sure that we are exploring all of our options, that we are making sure that we have the personnel in place to explore funding opportunities, to make sure that we are using tax dollars appropriately, right? And that we are addressing the serious needs of our community and in a timely manner. But as far as me doing that on my own, if I'm elected, that's impossible. You seat together with a council to make sure that you are collectively a voice for your community. And that's what I'm looking to do. I'm looking to be a part of that voice for the community.
So make sure I get this correct. As you come together as a council too. So basically, you would vote on things that in a matter of importance. So some things may not be considered as important as others. So it boils down to what really gets passed, as a collective group, correct?
That's correct, right. So
Okay.
they do work from an agenda. They are working from a comprehensive plan. But at the end of the day, it's not what does one council person want. You are voting collectively as a group to do what's best for the community, and addressing those needs is part of the responsibility that the council has.
Okay, great. When it comes to streaming the city council meetings and things of that nature, I know, it's mixed feelings. Some people like it, some people don't. What is your stance on streaming the meetings for the people of Hartselle? Because everybody can't make it to the meetings, but we need to have something in place. So if I can't make it, I can go back and not only see the minutes, but I can go back and see what was discussed leading up to the minutes as far as when the motion was passed, who made the motion, when was it properly second, how many yays, how many nays. What are your thoughts on streaming meetings across social media so people of Hartselle can see what's going on as it relates to the upcoming projects and things of that nature?
Sure, I'm absolutely in favor of that. I think, we do live in a time and day where not only is the technology that's available, something that can really enhance the relationship between everyday citizen and leadership and what's happening in these meetings, but there's also, keeping up with today's times with the pace of the American family in general right now. A lot of times families can't stop what they're doing in the evenings to attend these meetings because Hartselle hosts their meetings at 7 p.m. on Tuesday evenings twice a month. And you've got to consider that there are families in our community. We are a very family forward community, as we've talked about before. And so whenever you're thinking about that dynamic, you've got to find a way to make sure that they are included, they can be involved, even at a distance if needed, but that they can stay tapped into what's really happening in the community. And I think that really ties into the communication piece, as well, because whenever you're talking about bridging that gap of communication and getting people excited about being involved with what's happening, I think it just creates, a level of ease where they can, on their own time, jump in there, find out, like you said, what's happening in between of these approvals, or, what's happening on the agenda, see who they need to connect with if they have questions. And I really think it's going to attract the people who are looking to be involved to the people they feel like they can connect with on the council and at a city level.
So there is something that was an agenda that was passed last year. I think it's called NARCAR. Am I correct?
I don't know. I don't
Is
know.
that the correct terminology, or do I have it completely wrong?
So last year, this might be what you're speaking to. Just let's help each other out. So last year, well, it started in 2023. The city actually started putting together a comprehensive plan. Is that where you're going? So okay.
Yes,
So
yes.
NARCOG did help to mediate that, yes, and the city adopted that comprehensive plan that is good through 2045. And NARCOG was involved with that. They were exceptional to work with, and they really helped to lay out opportunities for the public to be involved was part of it. I was a part of the steering community or the steering committee for that project, for that comprehensive plan. And I got to be involved from a different perspective. I got to experience something new and see really, how does the city try to involve its citizens and what makes this place so special. And so you had administrative people, the mayor was involved, you had council members involved, the steering committee, and then there was a planning committee people on that as well. And so last September, the council adopted the comprehensive plan through 2045, and there was a lot of vision that was cast for our community. And there's a lot of projects that came forward from ideas from one of the public events that we hosted. Parks was part of that strategic plan. The community really wants to see that we have, parks and rec enhancement. Again, we are a family forward community. So any way that we can get involved for young families, for people to come back and bring their grandchildren, that was seen as a priority for the community. So you see a lot of these projects really starting to just now take flight, right? Or really starting to take place because all of these things in government are a process. And I think that's maybe part of the disconnect that we see sometimes in these public threads on Facebook and social media and what have you. I think more than anything, the people of Hartselle seem to be confused about what's happening. And I think there's ways that we can bring some clarity to that and get people excited about being involved.
Last question. Why should the people of Hartselle vote for you?
The people of Hartselle should vote for me because I'm looking to bring value to every single person that I come in contact with. This place is home to me. It's where I'm raising my children. They go to school right here in our city schools. And I've built a lot of great relationships in this city, and I've seen the heart of those people and what they pour in. I'm looking to bring value to this community. I'm not just looking to be a generic response. I'm not trying to present as a perfect candidate. I'm not going to be perfect, but I am looking to be real. I'm looking to make sure that we do have that gap that is bridged, between leadership and then our everyday citizens, and making sure that people realize we too are those people, right? We're of the people and we're for the people. And I'm looking to bring value in a sense of let's work together. Let's get excited and let's move this community forward, continue to move it forward. Hartselle's a great place to be. We're all here because we believe that, right? So I think focusing on that, focusing on the values that we share, I think that's what's going to continue to make this community great. And I am here to support that any way that I can.
If people want to ask additional questions, get in contact with you, how can they do so?
Call me directly. I would love to plan to go have lunch together. There's a few friends that I have that they always laugh and they're like, "Be careful if Maegan invites you to lunch." But I love going and having lunch with people. Call me directly on my cell phone. I didn't set up a website. I don't have a campaign Facebook page. I just want people to connect with me. I want to connect with them. I think sometimes translations get lost from just reading a website page. I don't want people to have an idea of me. I want people to have access to me. So I want them to reach out to me directly.
And what is that number?
256-309-7337.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Maegan Jones, who is running for City Council, Place 5 in Hartselle, Alabama. Maegan, thank you for your time and best of luck to you in your campaign.
Thank you so much, Julian. Have a great night.